Insights, a podcast by Pharma.Aero.
Welcome to Pharma.Aero's collaborative podcast, our third in the series exploring the environmental sustainability in the healthcare supply chain. I am Frank van Gelder, the Secretary General of Pharma.Aero. Today, we have the privilege of hosting three esteemed Pharma.Aero members, Etihad Cargo, KatalX and Expeditors, interviewed by Alice Iacubescu.
My name is Fabrice Panza, and I'm leading Global Cold Chain Solutions at Etihad Cargo.
I'm Damien de Chillaz. I'm the CEO co-founder of KatalX, which is the next generation supply chain visibility platform, collaborative and fully focused on life science.
Fabrice, Damien, welcome to our podcast. Also with us today, Andy Faes, Regional Manager Healthcare Vertical Europe at Expeditors. Andy, where do we start when we talk about sustainability at Expeditors?
It's a broad topic. I would say for us, definitely, sustainability is high on our agenda. But seeing that we are a company that is asset light, meaning that we don't own our own assets, so we work very closely with our service providers in order to reduce carbon footprint. We measure everything to do with our own warehouses, but then also take into account the service providers that we use in order to track what kind of fuel consumption, etc., that there is.
Fabrice, where do you look when it comes to sustainability?
For Etihad Cargo, sustainability is very important because we believe that the future will require lots of investment in reduction and in compensation of one of the key KPI in the industry, which is the CO2 emission. And I can give you some examples, such as reducing the weight of the key equipment which we are using as an airline. We are using what we call ULDs, and we reduce by 30% the weight of these ULDs. So that's one concrete example on how we can reduce the impact of the airline, of Etihad and Etihad Cargo, into the environment. In the same time, I will give you some examples on how we can reduce the usage of paper simply by enhancing automation and digitalization of most of the documentation. We also there significantly reduce the amount of CO2 which is to be used. For instance, acceptance are being performed through IT and digital check. So instead of using a pen and a paper and to do your checklist with this element and to store paper for ages, we are using digitalization and the usage of different softwares.
Damien, what is KatalX's focus?
KatalX is very much focused on sustainability. It's its DNA, actually. KatalX stands for Catalyzing Trust in Supply Chains. And we focus on vital supply chains. And when we think of sustainability in vital supply chains, we naturally think about the Sustainable Development Goals, right? But you cannot do all of the 17 well, and you're not responsible for everything. So you have to know where your responsibilities are. I believe if you work on vital supply chains, there are 4 SDGs which count, right? The good health and well-being, SDG number 3, the climate action, obviously, SDG number 13, especially carbon tracking. The circular economy is big in life science. It's all about reverse logistics, making sure you reuse the boxes, the tracking device, etc. And the last but not least, which is also the DNA of Pharma.Aero, is collaboration. And especially in supply chain of life science, it's all about collaboration. Collaboration between the 3PL, the 4PL, the carriers, the agencies, the FDA, EMA, the customs, obviously, to clear customs fast. So it's a lot of collaboration, multi-stakeholder collaboration.
There is another example for Etihad Cargo, which is important for us, which is the pharma logistics and the Pharma Corridor 2.0. We have set a global agreement between our two communities, between Brussels, Belgium, and between Abu Dhabi and UAE, where basically we take the full pharma air transportation from acceptance to delivery. And we are using specific softwares in order to enable full transparency in the chain, but also through the usage of digital softwares, we are eliminating the usage of paper as well as reducing the waste of time. So basically, if we spend less time and if we are more in control of the time that we need, we will also reduce the impact on the environment.
I know in the pharmaceutical industry, it's a little bit slower moving, meaning that there's a lot of the quality agreements and due diligence that needs to be done. So it's not always easy to start consolidating. There's also the quality agreements that need to be matched, but there is definitely a willingness, I think, from the industry. So yeah, that's something we see in the industry more and more, that companies are reaching out to saying, look, we want to collaborate, consolidate to make sure we get to the end of a more sustainable world.
Andy, what is the industry response?
I have to say the last couple of years has been a real increase in needs from the customers and other parties that we talk to. So I do see there's a bit of a switch of working with our customers and them putting also the requirements for sustainability when they do certain bids or want to work with different forwarders. They do take it into account and really take it into account. Yeah. So, another example I have specifically for pharma is by 2030, the European Commission is requesting all packaging solutions to be recyclable, for example. So that's another thing where we advise our customers saying, look, these and these and these packaging solutions, they're more sustainable than others. So we do take it into account in the big picture.
Does this impact the choice of your providers?
Yes, definitely, yeah. There's a lot of due diligence that we do with our providers. We have done that since the beginning of the company, but now we also take into account everything to do with sustainability. And so we also, when onboarding our service providers, we also take into account the measurements that they are taking to be more sustainable.
Is it expensive to be sustainable?
Yes and no. It's expensive to make it a priority and kickstart projects. There's a return on investment, obviously, on that. You build a strong brand. If you save carbon, you save cost, right? If you are making sure you monitor your transportation and logistics to be optimized and limit the recalls, limit the waste, limit the loss, and optimize your lanes based on carbon, at the end of the day, less carbon is less cost as well. Mm-hmm. So it has to be win-win. But I think my answer goes beyond that. I think it's win-win in terms of what brand you're building, and again, what kind of purpose you're serving, and if it's true and genuine as a manufacturer, as a big pharma, medtech, or a carrier, 3PL, you really build yourself into a leader which anyone wants to follow or join. So that's good for employees, for talents, for communities you serve. You have to start somewhere. You may want to start small, but it's a mindset, put it this way.
I think it's a legacy that we leave for our children, and I think there's sustainability is very important to make sure that we work smarter, because people always think about measuring a carbon footprint, etc., but I still think there's a lot of things we can do by working smarter as well, and that's how we also help companies to work smarter. We have supply chain solutions that do digital twins, etc., to make sure that all companies that we work with do the best thing moving forward. If you look at our sustainability reports, the number of trees and things like that we already saved by working more smart, I think really goes a long way. Yeah.
I believe that the more sustainable we are, the more effective we are. There is a correlation between sustainability and being effective. So it means also reducing your cost. And we have to think big on, what will be the future in 5 or 10 years if we don't act right now. And having that in mind is helping each of the stakeholders to understand why they need at a moment in time to make that kind of investment. And once again, proving that some of the investments are cost effective is certainly a good way, to motivate the industry to go for sustainability. Just the process enhancement, reduction in time spent on the tarmac, for instance. If I spend less time on the tarmac, I will spend less fuel, less kerosene as an airline. Same for the GHA.
Fabrice Panza, Etihad, in a conversation about sustainability, today with Andy Faes, Expeditors, and Damien de Chillaz, KatalX, interviewed by Alice Iacubescu. And we will be back soon with even more perspectives of sustainability offered by our Pharma.Aero members from around the world and from all segments of the life science supply chain. I am Frank van Gelder. Till next time, and all the best to you.
Insights, a podcast by Pharma.Aero.